Welcome to TSP Weekly. This is your tech startup podcast for April the 22nd, 2016. My name is Stephen Campbell. I'm a local tech entrepreneur here in Kitchener-Waterloo. And with me, as always, is my co-host, Amaris Gerson.
Good morning, Stephen.
Hey,
Are you
Amaris.
really a tech entrepreneur?
Yeah, we've talked about changing that up a little bit,
Yeah, because you're not a tech entrepreneur.
No.
You just say that out of default.
Yeah, that's been my go-to description of
You're
myself
just like
for a while.
a dude that does podcasts and likes tech.
Yeah, the
We can figure out
podcast
how
tech
to-
dude.
Yeah.
That's a good introduction. I like that.
Yeah.
Today we're in BuildDirect, and our guest today is Laura Austin. Hey, Laura.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
So we're in BuildDirect. You guys used to be
Drafting space.
Yes.
And we're missing someone today. We're missing Beth.
Beth, she couldn't be here today.
Because apparently she doesn't have a voice.
No, she's been pretty sick for the last few days.
And she's kind of your loud one.
Yes, she is.
So all the pressure's on you now.
Yep.
It'll be
That's
fun.
okay. Yeah, I'm excited.
So
you used to be Drafting Space.
Yeah, we were out of the Velocity Garage startup.
Of how many people? You were like 3 people?
Yeah, we were 3. Yeah, there's Beth, myself, and Tom. Tom was our first engineer.
And then when did you get acquired?
It's almost been a year now, so April 30th was our last day. May 1st we signed on with the company.
Great.
So we're here in your office now. You're a real deal. The bee's knees. Give us the pitch. What do we do at
Give us the
BuildDirect?
pitch of BuildDirect.
So BuildDirect was founded by Jeff Booth and Rob Banks. I think it was back in the 90s. And
So they're 90s. That's when Stephen had hair.
They're an online marketplace where homeowners can go and find like renovation materials, and they have a big distribution network all over North America.
Okay.
But specifically, the Design Center is the home renovation software. So basically, anyone looking to renovate can go onto the web app and then design their home through the tool. Yeah. Previously, it was just bathrooms, but coming soon are kitchens. So we're really excited to get that out.
And that's what this is. This is the Design Center.
Yes,
right?
specifically this office is the Design Center. So there's a team of 10 here.
Around the corner, there's a team of 10.
Yeah, they're all working hard this morning.
Yep, I haven't seen any Nerf guns go off yet, so it's been very safe.
Yeah.
So what did you actually build that BuildDirect wanted? What was the product? Was it the modeling, 3D modeling software for
Correct.
the bathrooms itself?
Yes, that's exactly what it was. So basically, homeowners will go onto the site. They'll enter in the dimensions of their room. They can draw that out. Then they'll pick the fixtures and furnishings that they want in their room, like a toilet, vanity, like an alcove shower. And then we built a layout algorithm, so it'll automatically like space plan for you based on building code constraints as well as design constraints that we learned when we were in architecture school, basically.
Okay.
So that's my background. And then you'll pick a layout that you want, and you can style it in 3D on the final step. It'll build a 3D model for you, and you can switch out like the paint color, the floor color, the different fixture types, the different manufacturers, and then sort of basically buy that room.
And then they just ship it to you?
Yes.
And then you have to install it.
Yes.
Which is the hard part.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You make the other part easy, so that's good. So what has been the sort of transition like as an acquisition? We always talk to companies that are in the starting, but you've already started and have been successful and acquired. So what's that been like?
It's been really good. So my role has shifted a lot. Before I was the chief technology officer, and so basically I was just coding every day though. And now I'm more of like a manager and have to sort of figure out the product vision, and I don't touch the code anymore. The engineers won't let me.
Right.
That's good. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you miss
I'm okay with that. I'm still doing a lot of design work and design thinking, and so that's really exciting.
A lot more meetings.
Yes, a lot more meetings. Now it's every hour. It's context switching. It's more like an hour of this, an hour of that. And so that's...
Was it weird to sort of... I mean, what was it like when you actually got the contact to be acquired? Like someone reached out to you and wanted to acquire you. What was that like?
Yeah, was it a phone call or an email?
It was a phone call that Beth had. So previously we were actually looking to raise money at the time. And then, so Beth was going around, she was going around fundraising, and then we actually met the investors of BuildDirect, and they were the ones who were like, you gotta meet Jeff. And so they put us in contact with him. She had the phone call, and he was basically like, so I would like to partner with you guys. what would it take to buy you? And so we were kind of hesitant at first. We were like, oh, let's think about this because we're doing our own thing. And it's like, do we want to give it up? But after some talking more and more, we understood more that they actually wanted the product and we would be able to work on it still. And they would just give us resources to build it out and be like a really good partnership because they're shipping the products everywhere all over North America and we're allowing people to design. So it was a really good fit for us.
And especially when he says, name your price, like, what will it take you to get you in this car today, kind of thing. You know, that's nice.
Yeah, so it was, we were like on board with that.
Were you just going to name your price there for a second?
No, definitely not. No.
So that was an okay transition because they partnered with you as opposed to just buying you out and leaving with you with a paycheck. You actually got a job out of that.
Right. It wasn't like so much as an acqui-hire or anything like that. Yeah. They let us continue working on the product, and they were giving us the resources to build out a team here. They also let us stay in Kitchener. Yeah.
Because you got out of Velocity, and now you have this office.
Yeah, so it was wonderful. Yeah.
So let's talk about a little bit about the fuel that sort of got you to that point. You came through the Velocity program.
Yes.
You went to architecture school. Let's talk a little bit about that history and sort of some of the
Sure.
community support that helped you.
Okay. So I think what the first thing was we were in the Velocity residence. Beth and I decided to do our final co-op term in our architecture program.
So Velocity residence, that means you were at University of Waterloo living in the Velocity residence.
Yes.
What were you taking at University of Waterloo?
So I was taking architecture. But normally, so architecture is a 5-year program with co-op terms, and you go and you work at architecture firms during those 4 months periods. But the final one, we're like, let's not work in an architecture firm. Let's pursue this idea that we have. And that's when we went and we're like, okay, let's apply to like all of the entrepreneurship programs basically in Waterloo. So there's the Velocity residence, and then there was e-co-op as well, which we did. And so that really kickstarted us because we won the Velocity Venture Fund, and then we were like, okay, we got this grant. So now once we graduate, we have some runway, like we can actually start working on this
some early wins.
Exactly. So that was huge. And then there was some OCE funding that we got through the government, which was really good in the Smart Start program.
The OCE is the Ontario Centre for Excellence, which is a government-run program.
Yes, yeah. And there was a bunch of other, I forget the name of it, but it's here in Kitchener, and it's it covers like 50% of salaries of your employees.
Okay.
What is that?
I'll remember it later. But
yeah, you'll remember it tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. And it was like there's a bunch of these programs that allowed us to continue working on it and hiring talent, so we could keep building out the company.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Why did you want to start your own company?
So we were actually working in architecture firms, Beth and I, like on different sides of the continent. She was in Vancouver, I was in New York, and we were in contact with each other over the term. And we were like, "What are you working on? What are you working on?" And we were both working on condo layouts, and so we were laying out basically furniture in a room. Like, there's only so many ways that a toilet can fit in a room, so we decided there's got to be a way better way to do this.
Because you were doing it like in software.
Yeah, we were using AutoCAD, drawing out the layouts, and then, it was just so repetitive and took a lot of time. It was tedious. So we figured that there would be a better way to do it, like using an algorithm.
But there's got to be a drive that made you want to start your own company, because I can come up with really cool ideas. There is no way that I want to go find someone to fund me and find, eat ramen for days, months, years, I don't know. Like, what's that drive that actually made you like, hey, I want to do this?
Definitely not an entrepreneur if you think it's just going to be a matter of days that you're eating ramen.
Yeah, no, it's years. I don't want to live with my parents anymore. I mean, I don't, but you know what I mean. So what's that drive that...
I guess so. First of all, it was like the frustration of the problem. It was huge. I thought that it was a really broken industry. Second of all, I think Beth has been going at this entrepreneurship thing even before this. She definitely has that kind of sleeve and this whole other. She has that drive.
Personality. Yeah.
And so she kind of reached out to me and was like, "Hey, you want to do this with me?" And I was like, "Yes."
So you wouldn't have done it on your own?
Maybe not. Maybe I wasn't really thinking so much entrepreneurship until she had kind of gone in touch with me.
She's sort of your big fuel.
She's yeah, I'd say so. She convinced me and kind of got me thinking that way. So that was really good. Yeah, I'm glad.
That's awesome.
And your family was all behind that?
Yeah, no, they were the whole way.
Wow. Yeah, no, my parents would not.
They're not interested in you jumping off the entrepreneurial cliff.
I think it was easier for them after winning like the Velocity Venture Fund because it kind of proved that there was like this opportunity to go forward too.
Right.
Yeah, have some momentum and some early success and a little bit of money under your belt. And
plus we had just graduated, so we didn't have any commitments. There was no like family, house,
it's not
mortgage.
Like you quit school to do this. You went to school. And then
we got our degree.
Yes.
That made parents happy. So
yeah, big difference.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So let's talk a little bit about some of your wins. What were some of the cool things that you guys...
we want to know 3 wins.
3 wins,
because we find our podcast a bit boring, and other people have voiced that to us, so we're trying to speed things up, because we both talk really fast, but we don't do that on the podcast, and it's silly. So we are going to force you to talk fast and tell us 3 of your wins.
Yeah, so we're going to do 3 wins, 3 losses, and then 3 future things. Sure. And what do we have? Sort of 3 minutes for each.
Yeah.
So,
in the future, we're going to get a tacky stopwatch, and I'm going to do this. But for you, you're just our guinea pig, so let's hear your top 3 wins.
Give us 3 wins.
I would say our team right now, building this team out in Waterloo and finding all of this great talent has been a huge win for us. Because we're just a team of 3, and we scaled up to 10. And
you have some really experienced people.
Yeah. We have people who know like Django really well, Angular, all of the 3D. Next win is finding this office space because when we were in Velocity, we had been acquired, we were trying to negotiate for office space for a really long time, and it was hard. And BuildDirect kept sending us things, and our boxes were piling up, and we were like taking more and more and more over of Velocity. So they were really happy that we were leaving
an office
to free up all that space, and for us, and we had an office warming party. That was fun. And then also the idea of eating your own dog food. So as soon as that's like basically getting everyone to the mindset of the customer and like thinking like they're the user. And we started doing that a lot by like taking our team to IKEA, for example, and using the competition software and pretending that they were building like a kitchen, like doing a kitchen renovation. And that has been really successful to get our engineers like thinking about the problem and like solving it in a relevant way to our users.
Have you brought on anybody from the market yet as early adopters or early users to get some market feedback other than your own internal team eating your own dog food?
There's an awesome actually user experience team at BuildDirect, and they have a lot of user research that they're doing, and they bring in people and they get them to go through our software and give us feedback.
Oh,
and we record it. And
so you do that here in the office?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what are we're calling them losses just because we couldn't come up with a better word, but basically what were some things that you've probably been challenged with or struggled with?
So I guess this predates the acquisition, but when we were in the startup, our first experience is being managers. We decided to get like a high school student.
That's
and
good.
it was like a free volunteer, and we're like, this is cool. Like we're gonna get So
free is very expensive.
So we got this student to come in, and on her first day, I think it was maybe like lunchtime, she had been working half the day. She has to go home and work the rest of the day from home. And we said, okay, because we wanted to be cool managers. Sure, you can continue working at home. And then after that, she never came in again, and we never saw her again.
She never came back? So one day?
It was
half
a day.
That's amazing. Yeah. All right. That's the best. It's the best loss I've ever heard. Okay, so what's the next thing?
Maybe, I think in our YC interview, we had a YC interview before the acquisition, and it was before we even had 3D, and we were sort of demoing them the product, and they were asking us, like, at a certain point where you were doing the room draw part, like if it could accept imperial and metric, and we just kind of acted like, oh, I don't know, let's see if it does that, but we were just kind of, I guess, nervous at the time, and so what it came across as like we didn't actually build the product, and so they questioned whether we actually had written the code for it.
Dealing with nerves for sure.
That was a fail. And then another one is actually we went to computer. So after we graduated from architecture, we decided that the way to become a programmer was to go to computer science school. So we enrolled in CS at the University of Waterloo for 3 weeks until Mike Kirkup from Velocity told us that's not how you do a startup. Like, you just have to actually go into it. So then we dropped out the day of
the final day.
Yeah, the final day to withdraw
and
get the tuition.
That day?
Yeah, exactly. So that's
one of your losses. That's good. Those are good lessons for sure.
Yeah.
And then we want to know what's the future for this team specifically, but you guys You and Beth. What?
Sure. So I think right now we're working on the kitchen designer, and what we want to do are other rooms of the house, and eventually have like the whole house available online. As well, we really want to get into virtual reality, because I see that as the next sort of big step in e-commerce, and especially because we have the 3D already, and it's customizing your home. And I think BuildDirect also has plans to add another team to the Waterloo office. So working on the website, not specifically the design center, but...
Are you going to fit them in this space?
I don't know. We might have to knock down the wall over here.
Yeah, there's nothing
Just take over
here.
the floor.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So that's sort of the big growth plans.
It's good.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. Do you find that most of the money is in the bathroom and the kitchen when somebody does their renovation?
Those are the two most popular home renovations.
That's where I find my money.
Oh, I lost it in my fridge.
I keep all of my money in the microwave.
So what's the strategy going past the kitchen then? Like, what's the next? I totally get the bathrooms and the kitchen. Then you're doing, what, a bedroom? Or like, what's a reno in a bedroom? Just a new carpet and a paint? Or?
Yeah, so it's kind of like a flex room. So, you could just, it's more for like previewing like color choices together and seeing which products actually fit in the space and how you can arrange them. So, at the same time, we can release like office and like home office, bedroom, living room, because it's all very similar. There's no like hard constraints. Like the cabinetry is a very separate problem than arranging furniture in a room. So
True. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So to keep it rapid fire, because Stephen will talk forever, and he'll keep asking questions because he's used to the old format.
That's true. We have an hour to chat, right?
Yeah, we don't do that anymore. No one's got time for that. So we want to talk about. We're all going to talk because we all have startup crushes, and you want to keep using hashtag startup crush, which is
I don't think
awkward.
I've ever tweeted it.
No,
like
so we want to talk about, this is a very big startup community. We know that. We are all part of it. But what are some startups that you've seen that you, I think, are really doing amazing things? And that question is to both of you and me. So any startups that you're thinking like...
So I'll start my startup crush this week is Funnel Cake. Really like those guys and what they're doing over there. I'm actively looking for a job right now, and I saw that they have a job posting up, and they were talking about problem solving. And the first problem you have to solve is figuring out how to apply, because
they don't want you to email.
They don't email HR.
Which is awesome. And
so that was awesome. I was like, that's awesome. I don't. It's not a job I would apply for, but I wanted to just to have fun with it. And
well, we know where their office is, so that's not fair.
So I could find them, right?
Yeah,
so,
you could like...
but I thought that was really cool. So good luck to Funnel Cake and finding some cool employees.
Yeah,
cool. I thought that was awesome.
What about you? Any startups you're loving?
I'm loving Chalk.com. They're actually downstairs. Well, he's doing amazing. He's always flying over the world.
They're downstairs?
Yeah, they're just one right below.
They moved out of Velocity?
Yeah.
Wow.
They have a big team now.
For them.
And they're solving problems for teachers. So it's similar to, I guess... They once described it to me as the Adobe Creative Suite, but for teachers. So they have a bunch of different software for them.
That's
cool.
with
lesson planning and such. So,
Amaris, who do you see that's doing good things around this week?
This week specifically?
Yeah, who's your startup crush this week? Hashtag startup crush.
I really like Sortable, partially because their office is in an old sushi restaurant.
Yep.
And they're just really cool guys. They're a lot of fun. Not just guys specifically. They're a really cool company. They're doing some cool stuff, and they've got some interesting strategies. Specifically, their recruiting ads that are targeting the U.S. and just a picture of Trump and saying move to Canada.
Yeah, we chatted with them about that a little bit at their
they did
an open house.
Yeah, and also they invited me to their open house. Yep. So I mean, they invited everyone, but I like to consider that as just me. I'm kind of a big deal.
The feedback on that ad was that they kind of were pretty direct in who they showed it to.
Yeah.
But they got very little flack and a lot of positive spin, and a lot of American media wanted to talk to them about it. So it was a really good ad for them, even though they kind of went out on a little bit of a limb being political. I think it really worked for them. So
so I like them. That's good. There's a lot of startups, and in all honesty, I haven't really talked to the ones that I probably should be talking to. The new ones, I hear them when they're sort of big enough to host Hacker Nest, or we've had them on the podcast.
Yeah. And speaking of having people on the podcast, next week we're talking to...
people that will know a lot about all the startups in town.
That's right.
Well, not all of them, but a lot of them.
We have Marilyn and Sen.
Yeah, from Rev.
Communitech and Rev.
Awesome. Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that.
They have fancy titles like Startup...
Guru?
Yeah, something like that. They'll tell us. They'll correct us.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
We're back in Communitech.
We'll be back in Communitech next week.
Yeah.
Well, that's all for today, folks. Thanks for joining us. Another episode of TSP Weekly, your tech startup podcast. For myself, Stephen Campbell, my co-host, Amaris Gerson, and our guest, Laura Austin from BuildDirect. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next week.